big Marvel, DC guy. I love superheroes. And I bring superheroes up, I bring the topic up because you have created your own, I like to call Marcus verse.
I like that.
Your own Marcus verse. And when I say that, I mean he's created two movies now, two cinematic fan fiction superhero movies. The Black League of Superheroes in 2020 won 27 awards. 27 awards at film festivals. Ladies and gentlemen, this man, multi-award winning filmmaker. What it do, everybody. This is D.R. Bellard. This is the Narrow Path Show, podcast show. I'm your host, actor, writer, producer, filmmaker. We are back for the second episode. Thank you guys who subscribed. On the first episode, everybody who liked, comment, shared, subscribed. Thank you for supporting the Narrow Path Podcast. As you know, this podcast is about finding underappreciated talent in the industry, actors, directors, writers, filmmakers, people that I feel are underappreciated or overlooked in this industry. I've been here 8 years. I know a lot of talented people, and I just so happen to have a very multi-talented guy on my set today. We met this is actually our first time meeting. I'll introduce him here shortly, but I've known him for years. It feels like I've known him for years on social media. Yeah. But this is actually our first time meeting. Let me read this man. When I say multi-talented, this guy I'm about to introduce you to is the epitome of what multi-talented artist in Hollywood is, and even outside of Hollywood, once I read his bio. But he is the essence of the type of guest that we want here on the Narrow Path Podcast Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Marcus Nel-Jamal Hamm. He is an award-winning filmmaker, actor, producer, writer, director. Born in Washington, D.C., Marcus graduated high school at the age of 16 and studied business of the arts at Columbia College, as well as sociology and criminal justice at Hampton University and the University of Maryland, College Park, where he obtained his bachelor's degree. He emerged onto the entertainment scene through the backbreaking world of professional wrestling. Yes, he is an ex-professional wrestler under the moniker of Marcus Jordan, having performed independently and nationally as a multi-title holding main event performer. Following several years of tenure, Marcus transitioned over towards acting, and his career launched almost instantly. Beginning with the feature role on 2 of the final episodes of HBO's The Wire, he continued to consistently gain momentum working as a television, theatrical, and commercial actor, as well as being trained in stunt fighting for film and television. Marcus has also produced, written, and directed several successful projects and has recently gained international success after creating an award-winning hit cinematic fan film, The Black League of Superheroes, which he also starred in as 5 legendary superheroes, including Black Panther and Superman. 5. He executive produced a role for a feature film which he stars and co-wrote, Heaven's Revenge, I Love You to Death. With even more projects on the way, Marcus Nel-Jamal Hamm is quickly gaining powerhouse status in the film and television industry. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the Narrow Path Podcast, the multi-talented, ex-professional wrestler, actor, writer, producer, director, all of the above. You sure you don't Uber on the side too? You know what I'm saying? You do it all.
I keep getting them emails. You know? I might have to answer one of these days.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Marcus Nel-Jamal Hamm.
How's everybody doing? Thank you so much. Derek, it's such an honor and a pleasure to be on your podcast. You know, I love what you're doing here. It's a great thing to get an opportunity to kind of expand on my career.
I have been watching you for a while now. Watching you for a few years on social media. Like I told everyone, this is actually our first time meeting, but I had to have you on the show. Man, take us through your narrow path of how you first started to your fascination with professional wrestling.
I was a wrestler in high school. I was captain of my team, Largo High. You know,
Largo High.
Back out in Largo, Maryland.
Right.
When I went to Hampton, they didn't have a wrestling team. So after my first year there, of course, getting this car accident. And at that point, I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm just going to miss the boat, you know.
Right.
And so I decided when I transitioned over to University of Maryland, I discovered that there was a place you can go to learn to be a pro wrestler. You know, it's called Bone Breakers. Bone Breakers Academy.
Okay.
It's still out there. Maryland Championship Wrestling is considered one of the top independent wrestling companies in the country. Many great names came through there, including Yokozuna. Recently, you know, we lost to Iron Sheik.
Right.
So many great wrestlers who have been a part of it, who've even been, you know, trainers. So it was great to, you know, train with these professionals. A year after training, an opportunity came up. They were looking for wrestlers to be on a show that was out here in California. It's called Urban Wrestling Alliance. And I had tag teamed with a guy by the name of Orlando Jordan. We came on together because we both had pretty much graduated at the same time. We had similar look. You know, he was a much bigger version of me. And that's how I was introduced to him, because I was actually out with an injury when he started. So when I returned, I kept being asked, like, have you seen your big brother? Have you seen your big brother? I was like, nah, I haven't seen him. And, when I finally met him, you know, it was just a given. And actually, former WWE wrestler Joey Mercury, also we knew him as Joey Matthews.
Right.
He was one of the, you know, like locker room leaders, and he was the one who just kind of christened us as brothers. He's like, it doesn't make sense for you guys not to. So we started out as a tag team, and we had a kind of rivalry.
You guys were the Urban Wrestling Allegiance Tag Team Champions, Black Legion.
That's correct.
Where's your tag name, huh? Tag Team Champions, ladies and gentlemen. Tag Team Champions. This man.
Yeah, and we were actually the only title holders on that series. We basically were brought in as a, you know, headlining team. We brought our opponents with us. You know, we knew them as the Ghetto Mafia, but they were called the Street Soldiers on UWA. But we auditioned with each other. We wrestled each other locally and trained with each other locally. And we actually auditioned with us, Orlando being the bad guys, and them being the good guys, which was always was the opposite of what we always did before. Right. And they loved us, but they did switch us back to what we were ultimately known for, us being the good guys and them being the bad guys.
The heels and
the heels and the
baby faces.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. For those who don't believe that, of course, why would this man make this up? I actually have footage of this man in the ring, and not only was he a wrestler, you could see this dude, you would think this dude was in WWE or something like that. I'm telling you, it blew my mind when I saw this reel. Everybody check this out.
Listen all you mother.
room to breathe through inadequate mask. Everybody get started. Let me see you pumping your fist. Give you up in the back, rolling you rocking with this. Come on, keep it blazing hot, calling all freaks. Calling all freaks now. Yo, calling all freaks. Calling all freaks now.
Nice. He got evicted.
Bruh. You can actually fucking wrestle.
Yeah, I'd like to think I can.
Excuse my language. You can actually wrestle. Bruh, I am thoroughly impressed.
I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sexual Chocolate is in the building, everybody. Sexual Chocolate, Sexual Chocolate. Hercules. Man, that was dope, man. So you wrestle for a while.
Yeah.
How did you catch the acting bug? Take us through that journey. Take us through to what led from professional wrestling to I think I can act. I think I can make movies.
Well, it's funny. UWA was it was produced by Rich Mill Productions, who also did the Judge Mathis show.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't treated the same as a wrestling show. It was treated like a TV series.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually had us going through acting training. We had to rehearse our matches, which is not common. Normally, when you're a wrestler, you kind of just walk it out, talk it out, and just put on the one match one time. We would have like a single match that we would practice literally for months sometimes.
Right.
And that was a lot. But that acting coaching, it was something that stuck with me. When the show ended and I ended up back in Maryland, I decided to get representation. I did start taking acting classes. I actually ended up taking theater. It was actually my acting teacher. I wish I could remember his name. It's been so long. But there was a gentleman that really believed in me. He sat me down and said, "You know what? You're not a wrestler. You're an actor." He's like,
He told you wasn't a wrestler? Did he see your tape? Did he see what I just saw with everybody else? This man told this man he wasn't a wrestler.
He wanted me to really take on further pursuits, outside of wrestling.
Right.
I had done a scene from Chicago. We had kind of a smaller class that we would go to, and then on the Friday we would have the big class with hundreds of students. And when we did the scene from Chicago in the smaller class, he asked us to do it again in front of the whole, hundreds of people. And man, the reaction, the response it reminded me of being in the wrestling ring.
Right.
And they really were blown away by our work. And I think that was what launched my acting career, was, that accepting that there was more for me to do out there. And definitely wrestling takes its toll,
right?
Physically and mentally. You invest a lot, and there's not a lot. If you're not a contracted wrestler in a major promotion, you're sacrificing a lot, And I've done that for several years, so I definitely was at a state in my life where
you were ready to make a transition.
I was ready for transition.
Yeah.
And the first opportunity I got was The Wire. And I got a call. It was funny because I hadn't been watching the show yet until I got booked on it. And then I just binged it because I couldn't believe I hadn't been previously aware. So I caught up. And when they brought me in, I'm new to all this. So they put me right up front and told me, hey, you're going to play part of this kind of elite unit that are responsible for capturing Marlowe Stanfield. And I'm like, oh, I know the story now, and this man ain't never been captured.
Right.
So you telling me I'm one of you're one of those guys. And we filmed a lot of episodes, or several episodes, both in uniform and street
You were a dirty cop, right?
No, I wasn't dirty.
No,
I do know who you're talking about because I remember seeing him thinking, I bet people don't think that. I liked him.
Right.
When it broke his finger.
Yeah, broke his finger. Yeah.
I was the good one. You know, I saw it as, because you know, season 5, you know, what they wanted to do with season 5, they wanted people to know that just because the show was ending doesn't mean that that world was ending.
Mm.
So you know how Omar died,
Right.
but then the young brother came up, pretty much becoming the new Omar.
Right.
And I was part of the group that if the show had continued, we would have been the ones, you know, continuing that journey to going after the next, you know, crew of baddies out here
Right.
in Baltimore.
Right.
So, you know, I didn't get to do anything negative. It was all, you know, just showing professionalism.
Gotcha.
It was a good role. I was really proud of that.
Gotcha. That's a hell of a first role.
Yeah.
For a lot of people just starting out in the industry, man. That's a blessing.
Yeah. Well,
I want to go back because I read in 2003 you filmed a pilot episode of pro wrestling that almost made it to BET.
yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so UWA, you know, I felt like that had so much potential, and I knew what led to it not getting to the next level, and it had a lot to do with money. A lot was invested in 10 episodes for what we had done. So we basically did 10 episodes of a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about that, you know, generally a pilot is a single episode, right? So when the negotiations were happening with BET, with Fox Sports, they were close. But what the networks wanted was new content, because they're like, your show has been airing in syndication for the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
We want, you know, to see new episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't want to pay for them.
Right.
So it became this, you know, who's going to pay for it? And on our end, they were like, hey, we've already spent all our money. Yeah, so it just kind of, you know, the negotiations just kind of fell through.
Okay.
And the show disbanded. And I had an opportunity, because actually The Rock's father, a WWE Hall of Famer, Rocky Johnson, he was brought in after our second and third episode. And he actually, similar to how I was christened as an actor by my theater teacher, Rocky Johnson reviewed all of our footage and individually would meet with us to talk about notes, you know, things that we need to improve on.
Right.
And when he called me in, he told me that I was the only person that he didn't have any notes for.
Wow.
And he said that you understand your character, your moves looks, you know, crisp. He said, the only thing I need you to do is put on a little size.
Right.
So I was probably about 195 pounds back then.
Okay. 6'2",
6'1".
6'1",
Yeah.
6'1", 195.
And for wrestling, you know, gotta be out, you know, 210, 225, 230, you know, all that fun stuff. So, you know,
Okay. The only man that didn't get no notes.
Yeah.
That says a lot from an icon.
Yeah, from an icon.
From an icon. That says a lot.
Yeah.
In 2008, you developed a wrestling doc that followed a famous pro wrestling family, or is that's what you?
No, that was a different one.
That's
so
a different
just to go back to the UEW, after UWA ended, I decided, instead of taking up an opportunity to move to Miami and train with Rocky to potentially get into WWE, I decided to return to college because I hadn't got my degree. I lost my grandma. My dad pretty much took me to her gravesite and said, she was waiting for you to graduate. I said, I know. I'm going to take care of that. So I did decide to hold off. And then Mr. Johnson ended up back in WWE because that was around the same time that his son, the Great One, had become the Great One. That was like that transition for his character, where he had become The Rock. And they brought his father out to play his father, you know, be in the arenas and stuff. So I kind of missed that opportunity to get in through that, you know, resource. But for me, I just felt like, you know, I'm more concerned about bringing out something similar to UWA. Because here you finally had a majority black wrestling show.
Right.
You know, it was hip hop themed. It had the momentum, and I really, even to this day, I believe that wrestling needs something different than what we're seeing in, you know, AEW, WWE,
right.
TNA. We're
right.
all kind of like the same mix.
Right. You need an urban kind of
just something with some flavor.
With flavor, right?
You got Tyler Perry just took over BET. This might be the time, man.
This might be the time. This might be the time. So between 2003 and 2008, were you still, were you producing these or producing these pilots and these documentaries? Were you still acting in, or?
Yeah. So actually, I did The Wire in 2000. What was that? 6 or 7. Okay. Yeah. So actually, that opportunity came later, a lot later.
Gotcha.
Those years. I graduated from University of Maryland in 2003, and I kind of just was more focused. I still was wrestling, but I was wrestling injured. I wasn't in shape, you know. It was not the same kind of what you saw was not happening in those years. If you see any footage of me from those years, I'll be like, that ain't me.
You're like, I don't know who that is. That's a deep fake.
I looked older then than I do right now.
Really?
Because them years that they added up, you know, those early years of doing the wrestling, and you know, so I did have to take some time. I actually did get shoulder surgery. Okay. I got married at one time. That didn't work out. Right. And actually, after that didn't work out, that was the launching pad for me to decide to move out to Los Angeles.
Gotcha.
Yep. So
then
that's when, you know, get into 2008. That's when I came out as an associate producer for a show that it was actually supposed to be a movie, but it was introduced to several prominent producers, and I had a team, and we all had come together, and it was decided to turn it into a docu-series or reality series, similar to the Osbournes. Right. It was about Alpha Noai, who's kind of like the patriarch of the Samoan dynasty. So he's on the top of the food chain when it came to the Usos and Rikishi and you know, all Roman Reigns. Right. All the Samoans. Yeah, all the Samoans. So we were actually traveling back and forth to Miami, and we were doing just kind of test footage and just learning the family. Had so many great ideas, and what's crazy is that this was the time that the Kardashians was taking over reality, and the Osbournes were kind of phasing out. So, long story short, they said a show about pro wrestling family was too wholesome. Those were the words that were shared with me. Too wholesome. Yeah. I was like, you should have shot it first before you said that.
Yeah, we all know what they believe sells. Yeah. And well, they're not wrong. Looking at the ratings of some of the stuff that they have on TV, but that's why you gotta. Hey man, you gotta keep pressing.
You just gotta keep going.
You just gotta keep going.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, because you know it lit a fire. And one thing that I'm repeatedly reminded is that it's all about timing.
It's all about timing.
Whether you're an actor, producer, or anything else, right? If you're making something, it can sit on a shelf until it trends. You know, but it's just a matter.
It's all about timing and God's will.
Exactly.
You know, if you believe in God, then you know that He opens doors that nobody can close, and He closes certain doors for your protection. Yep. And so it may take 10, 20 years. Who knows? But when it's your time, it's going to be your time. Yeah. And so you have to trust and believe in that. I want to get to. I want to show the world your demo reel. Because not only are you talented as a pro wrestler and a filmmaker, which we'll get to after this, but I want to show the world your acting chops.
I just hope that your bitterness doesn't lead you to do something that you're going to regret.
I'm not bitter. Don't laugh at me, Jackson. Don't make a joke out of me, Jackson.
You are bitter.
Where'd the guy in my head go?
He's with her now. He's not a good multitasker. Once he exits, he leaves the control room open for you to take over the wheel. So I suggest you take advantage of this small little window and turn your powers up to full and get ready for the fight of your life.
How do I know I can trust you?
Why don't you put these toothpicks away? If you're done with your daddy issues, we need to go stop Captain Marvel.
Don't you dare. Don't you try to come in here, you drunk son of a bitch. Give me a beer. This is AO, and it is off limits to you. You get that, soldier?
Everybody, Mr. Marcus Nel-Jamal Hamm. That's what's up. That's what's up. Talk to me about your love of superheroes.
Yeah, man, that's they've been a part of my life my whole life. You know, starting with Superman. You know, when I was a kid, you know, seeing the first Superman movie, 1977 with Richard Donner. You know, of course, Christopher Reeve. I mean, I probably have watched that movie hundreds of times over the course of my life.
The original Superman?
The original Superman.
Okay.
Yeah. And the movie...
is he the best Superman?
Oh,
out of Henry Cavill,
I say yes.
all George Reeves.
And I say the reason I say yes is because he wasn't only the best Superman, he was the best Clark Kent.
Okay.
If you look back at those movies and you look at the difference, I mean, this literally looks like two total. I mean, like, you know how people always say, "Oh, he just put on a pair of glasses and he's supposed to make me believe that people couldn't tell he was Superman."
Right.
This man put on such a performance as Clark Kent to actually get you to understand how that's possible. I mean, his voice, his mannerisms. You know, he was this clumsy guy. He was such a likable character. And when he would just, I mean, like, you always remember in Superman 2 when he actually had to reveal himself to Lois Lane after his glasses fell in the fire and, you know, she realized that his hand hadn't burned.
Right.
And he, like, just, like, turned around and still was wearing the same clothes.
Right.
But he turned into Superman.
Right.
And all he did was all from up here. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't require him to pop his chest, you know, open and show a cape or nothing. All he had to do was just switch modes. Like
that always, every time I watch, especially when I watch them as adult eyes, I'm like, how? That's like, look, Clark Kent, Superman, Clark Kent.
You got to remember though,
Superman.
You think about this though, like if you're thinking about if we lived in a world where there was actually somebody capable of those types of, you know, feats. Mm-hmm. We create in our mind who that person is. So if it's in my head that this person is larger than life, I mean, we do this with celebrities. Mm-hmm. I used to work security at the Hollywood Roosevelt, so I've done executive protection with tons of celebrities. Right. And what's interesting about the way celebrities are treated is that if you are a celebrity and you don't act like a celebrity, nobody knows you're a celebrity. Mm-hmm. If you're a celebrity who comes to the places wearing regular street clothes and no your little group or whatever with you and no security, people will be like, "Nah, that's not him. That's not her." Right. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, when you look the way you look when you're on camera, you got your makeup on, you got your crew with you. Right. Then all of a sudden, everyone goes crazy. And it's almost like very similar in that sense. It's like when he's this unimposing, nerdy guy.
Mhm.
Nobody can imagine him picking up, a boulder or being faster than the speed of bullet. But absolutely, it can definitely be viewed as absurd. But that's the case with all superheroes. With fantasy in general.
There's a little bit of absurdity with each superhero. It's kind of like Batman.
Yeah.
He's supposed. Have you seen that Batman statue in Burbank?
Oh yeah.
Right outside.
Yeah.
He's this big 6'4", 6'5", muscle rocked up dude in a cape and a cowl.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he took that off and that same dude walked through Burbank, you'd be like,
right.
Not too many dudes could be Batman and look like that.
Yeah.
In or outside of a suit.
Right.
So it's like, there's a little bit of absurdity with each and every superhero. But I love superheroes. I'm a big Marvel, DC guy. I love superheroes. And I bring superheroes up. I bring the topic up because you have created your own, I like to call Marcus verse.
I like that.
Your own Marcus verse. And when I say that, I mean he's created two movies now, two cinematic fan fiction superhero movies, all on his own. He's created, he's taken characters, Marvel and DC, and he's infused them together into his own narrative, his own world. The Black League of Superheroes in 2020 won 27 awards. 27 awards at film festivals. Ladies and gentlemen, this man, multi-award winning filmmaker. That's why I brought up the superhero thing and the fascination with it, because it has to come from a place. It has to come from a passion.
Yes, sir.
For you to even, I know how hard filmmaking is, but for you to put these characters, take all of these characters, write a story that you want to see manifested and have it come to life. Give me your thoughts behind that. Give me what first made you say, I'm going to put all of these superheroes together and make this happen.
Yeah, so the first question everybody asks is how are you able to make a movie with these licensed characters?
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple loopholes, and they are risky. You ask any attorney, and they'll tell you that it's ultimately up to the owner of the IP, intellectual property, whether or not they're going to pursue you or not. But what's commonly known as the term fair use. Mm-hmm. So the key thing is that fan films is not profitable. You cannot make money off it. If I tried to sell it in any kind of way, try to get it distributed, that's when it hits the fan. Right. So you got to have a love for it. You got to have a strategy for why it would be beneficial.
So you basically just made it for film festivals and YouTube.
Promotional purposes.
Yeah.
Just to build your audience, to showcase your talent,
and let them know you can do it.
Yeah. And personally, I know of individuals who have made, original works and presented them. And in my mind, I'm thinking, if I am trying to still garner an audience, I don't want my original ideas to be put out there before the money comes and before the notoriety comes. I want that to be kind of the main event. I want people to already know who I am when I release something that's that I'm hoping is going to turn a profit.
Right.
So yeah, this is a proof of concept.
Makes sense. And then you co-produced, co-wrote, and directed Triggered.
That's right.
Right. Cinematic superhero fan film winning 25 film festival awards in 2022, including Best Fantasy Short. Man, you just racking up how can somebody after all those awards, man, not hit you up? Or has anyone hit you up?
And I'm actually working with some pretty prominent people right now. And I can talk about it because it's, we haven't made a...
No, go ahead. But before you do, I want to show the trailer to Triggered and I want to show the ceremony. So in case you think we're just making these making these awards and these numbers up, let me show you the trailer, and let me also show you the one of the awards ceremony.
Rogue.
You stink.
Where's Rogue?
You are in the reconditioning room.
How did I get my powers back? Where'd the guy in my head go?
Nah, man. He's on the PA system.
We have to go now.
Ready, Bubba.
Get us to the space station. Doc. Enjoy the show.
Are we about to get rescued by a couple of...
Superheroes? Yes, you are.
You're gonna need to upgrade your battle gear.
How do I know I can trust you?
Mutations are like triggers. And I ain't no mutant.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And now we're going to show you the award ceremony. '25 Film Festival Awards, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you a hand for that. That is no small feat.
Oh, man.
That is no small feat.
I still can't believe it.
That is no small feat at all, especially as a filmmaker. I know what it takes to get a project done independently, especially a passion project.
Yeah.
When nobody else who might be reading it is thinking, this man's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
Right.
Or whatever. But it doesn't until it manifests, until you actually see it. It doesn't come together until you actually see it on the screen. Take me through the process. How long did it take to film Trigger, the first Trigger, and
Black League?
Yeah, Black League.
So I'm gonna go back to Black League first because Trigger is gonna shock you. Black League started as an experiment. We actually filmed the last 15 minutes where I played the 5 different characters all in one scene.
Mm-hmm.
That was literally all I wanted to do. I actually wrote that, and that was it. It was inspired by George Floyd's passing and the tragedies that were happening throughout 2020. So I had this idea that I wanted to tell a story that organizes Black superheroes to have a call to arms, to step away from their superpowered nemesis and instead focus on real life, issues that we're facing every day. And I came up with a way to do that through now who everyone knows very well, Miles Morales, Spider-Man. Right. One of the 5 characters that I played. He has a tragedy that happens in his life, and he manages to get his hands on the Infinity Gauntlet, and he uses it to call upon his elders, which is Black Panther, Spawn, originally created Superman. He's not a black version of Clark Kent, nor is he any of the other black iterations of a Superman who already exists. And he basically wants them to help him figure out how to seek revenge on the people who caused the tragedy. And Blade shockingly becomes the voice of reason.
Right.
But it was just a fun idea. And when I think about the concept of a fan film, I'm like, well, I don't have any rails. I'm not required to just do one company's, characters.
Right.
So why not take advantage of this and let Blade and Spawn finally be face to face? I mean, even the comic books end up doing that from time to time.
It seemed like you had a lot of fun playing Blade from
Yeah.
the trailer, from what I could tell.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Of course, you resemble him in some manners, but yeah.
There was Blade is definitely what I would consider my favorite superhero, thanks to Wesley Snipes' portrayal. Those movies, even to this day, I watched them recently.
Are you excited about the Mahershala Ali version?
I'm trying to stay excited, but I'm worried because I keep reading all these different stories.
Right.
And it keeps getting pushed back, and
Right.
They had to rewrite the script.
Right.
I want to believe that when it all is said and done, we're going to get the best version of that film that they could have gotten.
Blade actually saved Marvel.
Yes, he did.
A lot of people don't know that. Marvel Studios was going bankrupt.
Yep.
And Blade, with Wesley Snipes, saved that franchise.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people like to think it was Iron Man, the first Iron Man, but it wasn't. Just a little fun fact I wanted to throw out there. And if you don't believe me, go do your research.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to ask Kevin Feige that. He did a Q&A at New York Film Academy where I graduated from. But by the time I was getting up to the podium, he wasn't taking any more questions because I was going to put him on the spot.
Yeah.
I was going to ask him. I was like, hey, why doesn't Blade get more recognition for being the character that saved the franchise that saved Marvel?
Yeah, you want to hear something crazy about my history with Blade? During those years before I started filmmaking, I actually developed a live action Blade stunt show. And I had a whole cast, and I actually met with some individuals who had a connection with Marvel, and we pitched it, and they loved it, and they submitted it to Marvel, and Marvel's response was, sure, he can borrow our license for about, $250,000, and you got to fill the seats, 97%, and we won 70% of the cut.
Wow. Wow.
And I said, okay, gentlemen, I don't think, we had the same ideas of how this is supposed to play out, and they said yes. We thought we were basically just going to get a contract that we were going to, put on this performance. Okay.
They trying to get paid, even more paid. It's like, come on, bro. How much more rich do you need to be? Let the little man shine.
Yeah. But at the same time, I understand the value
of their franchise, of those characters.
But I also learned, because I'm sure you probably noticed that when Blade did come out, there weren't any action figures really.
Right.
They didn't consider Blade to be a profitable character. And they tried to blame it, of course, on, things that were not the reason. I mean, Blade was basically a horror movie mixed with action. So, it wasn't designed, because Marvel at that time, kind of as you were mentioning, they weren't at a place where they were able to make profitable movies that were catering to children. So they did stuff like The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren.
Right.
And thankfully they did Blade with Wesley Snipes.
They sold off a lot of their characters.
Yeah, they sold off a lot of their characters.
And a lot of other.
Yeah, and they just got the Hulk back.
They just got the Hulk back. Hulk, Spider-Man.
Yep.
Some other characters. That's very, very interesting that you combined a lot of these superheroes together. I did a film as well. I wanted to see Black Panther is my favorite superhero.
All right.
Of all time. It was Batman, but once Black Panther came out, I was like, nah, bro, you got to drop. The king is here. And I made a short film, Black Panther meets the Joker.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
See? Yeah,
I'm going to have to show it to you.
Yeah, I got to check that out.
I'm going to have to show it to you. And that was just a passion project, but I get what because it came from strictly curiosity. What would happen if my favorite superhero or my favorite villain were to meet in a diner?
Yes, sir.
And they met in a diner, and you know that's what the whole film is about. But I think it's fascinating that you do that. Talk to me about Mr. Stephen James Tingus and what he means to you in your projects.
I tell you, man, I'm sure you've heard the term, there's angels on earth. I tell you, Stephen, he was just one of those.
Tell the audience who Stephen is.
Yeah, so Stephen James Tingus, he was a lifelong advocate for disability and diversity inclusion. Stephen was born with a very rare form of muscular dystrophy. So he was not able to walk. He had a rare genetic defect that impacted his musculature. So he had a very rare appearance. But you wouldn't have thought anything once you got to know him, because he didn't live his life in a manner that he put his disability or the differences in his appearance on the forefront. He just enjoyed being alive. And it was a blessing to have met him. I met him in 2017. I was actually a presenter for a awards show, and Stephen was in the audience, and he met me after the show and exchanged information. He sent me text message every once in a while, just saying what's up, saying that he wanted to work with me one day. And back then, I wasn't even really doing anything as a producer. But he's just like, I hope to be on set with you someday. And then I started doing Black League of Superheroes. And he actually was supposed to play one of the characters in the Spawn scene. But the doctors told him it wasn't safe, to come out. It was 2020. And I remember when I started winning those awards, he just called me and was like, I'm kicking myself, man. And I said, don't worry, Stephen, we're going to get something done. I got a character in mind. We talked all the time, and he talked a lot about Darth Vader being, one of his inspirations, and, wanting to portray a character who was not pure evil, who was, he wanted to be the villain, but he didn't want to be an evil character.
Right.
So when I came up with Triggered, I developed his, we worked together to develop the character. I gave him the name and told him my ideas.
The director, right?
Yeah, his name was the director. And, I still kind of feel like maybe that wasn't a good idea, because when you say the director, and then they think it's the director of the movie.
Right.
But it was just the perfect name, because that's what his character does. And actually, his character is a exaggerated representation of Stephen. I talked to his family, and they're like, in real life, he was the director, because it's very similar to how he got in my mind and kind of helped me help him, navigate towards him pursuing his dream. His dream was to be a lead, villain in a superhero movie. And he literally lived to make that dream come true. And he believed in the project so much, he put everything into it. It was a daily operation for him to promote it, to just keep us motivated, to try to help us gain some funding and all that fun stuff.
Right.
So before he got into Hollywood, Stephen was in Washington, D.C., and I'm also from D.C., Maryland myself. And I didn't know him, of course, back then, but he actually worked for the White House. He helped shape the policies for the American Disabilities Act under the Bush administration. And he wasn't about, political partisanship. He was about getting things done in his lifetime, So, and he also had a degree in physiology. He was actually working on trying to cure his own condition.
Wow.
So this guy, you think about, movies like Forrest Gump, or, you got this person who just lived so many different lives in one lifetime. He had this historied life, and at the end of it all, what he truly wanted was to be a Hollywood actor.
Wow! After all of that,
his
passion.
He never
was acting.
Everything else he did was simply because he had a restriction that was preventing him from living his dream.
Right.
And ultimately, he decided around 2013 to just move to LA. And his family were like, what are you thinking? And they were very concerned that he was going to come out here and basically just be sitting in a room, and that, you know, he was going to be disappointed. And when they learned about, and I'm just one, there are so many people over the time that he's lived in LA who have embraced him. But according to Steven, he felt that a lot of people were full of lip service. He gave me the greatest honor, telling me that I was the first person to have walked the walk and talked the talk.
And actually casted him.
Yeah, and casted him, so put him in it, you know, and I gave him everything for this role as far as screen time. I wanted him to represent the full film. So he actually starts the movie with his voiceover, and this was his first opportunity to do ADR. And then he, you know, reveals himself in the third act, and he closes the movie out. You know, like it was intended for him to have a very prominent role, not just have an appearance, you know. And he had a lot of fun. And even before we started filming, he got sick, and he had pneumonia. He had to be put on a ventilator, and I was under the impression that meant that we were not going to be filming. And he was very candid. He was very open about his condition. He knew that his time was running short. So I had a contingency. I told him, listen, I just want you to use your phone and read your lines and send it to me. I'm going to get a character who plays a robot. His name was Mike Hager. You'll see him in the movie. He was going to play the character, just voicing him, you know, like he was controlling him like a robot. And Steven refused. He said, nah, bro, I'm going to be there. And I said, well, if you want to show up, you know, get there at 4 and we'll get you wrapped by 7.
Right.
And he showed up about 1:30. I'm like, you know, we were in the middle of shooting, and all of a sudden we hear his voice, because he announces himself, and we're like, Steven.
Right.
And the whole production just twisted around, and we just said, let's get Steven's stuff in and get him out of here. And he was out of here by about 4 o'clock. But he had such a great time. I mean, he was just so overwhelmed with how the sets looked.
Right.
You know, when we got him in makeup, got a little scar on his face. He had a wig.
Right. He was kidding the kids.
Yeah. You got to.
And that's what it's all about. It's all about passion.
Yeah.
Doing things that you're passionate about. I wish I had met him. He reached out to me on Facebook. And we talked for a little bit, but I hadn't actually met him.
There's very few people out here who haven't at least gotten a chance to, you know, to connect with him through social media. Man, I don't know how he did it. He was the most social person I've ever known.
All over the place.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Rest in peace, Steven.
Yeah.
The dream lives on. So talk to me about your transition. Let's transition from fan fiction superhero films to Heaven's Revenge. I Love You to Death.
Yeah.
It's kind of a pivot. That's a big pivot.
Yeah, you know how actors tend to complain about being typecast. I don't have to worry about that.
Right. Not at all.
Not at all. Heaven's Revenge is very opposite of me playing a superhero. I do play a pro wrestler.
Okay.
But the character is very flawed. He's a womanizer, and he basically meets the wrong woman. You know, he's so used to getting what he wants and having his fun and moving on, and he meets a woman who's not about that. You know, and he knew she was damaged. He decided he wanted her anyway, and after a good year of giving, you know, what seemed to be authentic, you know, passion,
right,
he was with other women, and he finally wanted to let her know that I'm done with you. And instead of her just saying, okay, that's fine, I'll move on, she said, I'm gonna go ahead and get my gun, and we're gonna handle this a different kind of way.
Not too many women take that lightly.
No.
You just ain't gonna use me. for a year. Yeah, decide you're gonna move on without any consequences.
And after getting shot, initially Heaven's Revenge was a short, and getting shot was the end. And the reason I could talk about getting shot is because it's in the trailer.
Right.
It's the first, you see it at the very open of the movie, so it's not giving anything away.
Right.
But after getting shot, I decided that there had to be more to this story. So my co-writing credit is because I came up with the extension of this story that led to it becoming a feature film. And Miranda Bowden Parker, who has done a number of projects through BET, she's award-winning screenwriter. She took the original script, the treatment that I wrote, and she developed the full script that turned into this feature that actually also won about 8 film festival awards. I can honestly say it's one of my favorite movies, not because I'm in it, but because that genre, aside from, of course, Fatal Attraction and Misery, a lot of the movies that have come since then don't carry that same level of depth. They're more for, just like a Friday night flick.
Right.
I feel like our movie did very similarly what those two movies, and we always compare it to, we always refer to it as Misery meets Fatal Attraction.
Right.
Or vice versa, because it starts as Fatal Attraction and it turns into Misery.
Don't it always?
Yeah, and it's not far from reality at all.
not at all. Trust me.
Yeah.
We've all been there, brother.
We have.
And they can currently, the audience, if they wanted to check it out, they can currently catch it on Amazon Prime and Tubi and Apple TV.
Yep.
Awesome. So go check that out. Last but not least, you got a project. Listen, when I tell you this man is multi-talented and multi-diverse, he's gone from pro wrestling, he's gone to acting, he's gone to making movies about superheroes, to making Fatal Attraction love stories, and now he's got an action western.
Yes, sir.
An action western. Talk to me about the action western series that is getting ready to drop soon, or ready to drop very soon. Sins. S-I-N-S. Sins. Seminole Indian Negro Scouts.
Yes. So this is from the brilliant mind of a good friend, who I would call a brother, Lovey Johnson Jr. Lovey, just like yourself and myself, has been putting out that work, making movies for years. And he created The Sins as a short film. It's not available to watch. It's still on the festival circuit. It's won as many awards, if not more awards than at least what Black Panther did. Not Black Panther, Black League of Superheroes. And that's how we met. And that's why I respect him more than anything, because I've had a lot of people over the course of the time that I have found the success distance themselves from me. People who I've worked with. This brother saw that I was in the same festivals as him, winning awards, and he said, we need to figure out how this can work mutually. And we connected. He offered me a role, a leading role. I still had to work for it. I actually had to audition twice, because my first audition, I was not off book. I'm gonna be honest. And I gave him what I had, and he said, "I know you can do better than that." And that's another reason I respect him, because he
kept it real.
He kept it real.
He kept it 1,000.
And the good thing was he was right.
Right.
And I stayed up.
And you can't be mad at that.
No.
If you know in your spirit.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's like when you hand in a paper and you ain't studied. Like, I know I could have done better than that.
Right.
And I appreciate that second chance, because a lot of, times as actors, if you screw up the first time, you done screwed up.
Right.
So, but I did do it right the next time and gave it back. And he said, that's what I was looking for. You got the role. And I played Adam Payne. Here's the thing about The Sins. Seminole Indian. Now, if you Google it, search Seminole Negro Indian Scouts. Actually, recently have been getting some flack about the name Sins. But I'll just tell you up front that the reason for the acronym has to do with what was done to the sins, to the Seminole Negro Indian Scouts. It's the sins of the U.S. Army, the sins, of the people who wronged these men. And this is all true story. This is based in the late 1800s, the 1870s. It wasn't taught to us in school, but the U.S. Army recruited these former slaves, and they were the very first special forces. They were asked to fight in the war, the Indian Wars, and they were offered land, they were promised stocks. And these guys were the baddest that you can ever see. They never lost a battle, never lost a man to any major injuries. So we are working directly with descendants of these amazing heroes, and the stories that are being told are entirely based on truth. Adam Payne, who I'm honored to play, he was considered one of the toughest soldiers of them all. And we start the story by telling the story of when he is recruited. And it's a pretty, I'm not going to give anything away about it, but it's an incredible story.
Well, we got a clip. Let's check out the clip. Decide for yourself.
Scouts ain't lost a battle yet.
They never see us come.
Sins, everybody. Sins.
Yes, he is.
Coming soon. I like it. I like it a lot. Anything that can tell the true history of this country, I'm with it.
Yes, sir.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
No matter how gory, no matter how ugly, as long as it reveals the quote unquote, no pun intended, the sins of this country and how they've oppressed especially Black people and Native Americans, I'm with it.
Yes, sir. And that's exactly what this project is. And as you saw, we're riding horses. I got to give a big shout out to Double Six Ranch, Ty Nitty. Mr. Nitty took on to this project and just extended himself to us all as family. We have been training on riding horses, stunt riding horses, for over a year now. And that's, if you think about how much it costs just for a weekend.
Right, right.
I mean, these folks, they want to see this project successful. We had to do a crash course training. I had been on a horse one time as a grown adult, and that was on a date. One of them Groupons.
Right. You had to get a crash course.
But they had, literally, we hit the floor running. I mean, they put us on those horses and said that you need to look like you know what you're doing within 3 months. And it was actually less than 3 months, but we basically trained from June to August when we started filming the actual scenes that involved horses.
A lot of barebacking.
Yeah,
a lot of riding.
We did the bareback riding, and we did have to, do the uniform riding. We had to just get comfortable with going at faster speeds right away.
Did you ever get bucked off?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, bucked off. As a matter of fact, it happens even on film.
Okay.
It was planned.
So you used to them bumps though.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. And that's why I said, let's do this.
Right.
You know? But I can thankfully, knock on wood, say that I was never injured.
Seriously injured.
And none of the cast were injured while training. Not to any. It was almost like the sins themselves. You know,
Right.
No major injuries while we were preparing for this film, which I'm very grateful for. And as you mentioned, it is a series concept. We filmed the pilot. Mm-hmm. It's in its final stages of post-production. We're expecting it to be ready to showcase by the end of this month. Of course, it's still being shopped. So the I don't even say the hope, because it's a given. I mean, you're not going to see this. Just like the sins themselves, the Seminole Negro Indian Scouts, you can't recreate what we just did, you know, especially for an indie project to have such a cast of trained stunt fighters who are also trained actors.
Right.
We put something together that you cannot reproduce. So, you know, there's no way that you can take that footage, and you saw the trailer, you know, it's a top quality piece.
Right.
So it's just a matter of time, you know. So looking forward to what's going to be coming later this year.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it as well. I can't wait to check it out, man. Hopefully it gets a good distribution platform.
Yeah.
And everybody can see it, because you deserve to see it. You deserve to know the history, the true history of this country, that they don't put in books.
Yeah.
They don't talk about in schools, and all of, you know, the whitewashing of American history that we all know about. So hopefully this is a little piece of information that can open your eyes to a lot of things that has happened.
Yeah, that's the goal, you know, with my company, Urban Renaissance Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
That's why working with Lovey and C Films, you know, and I'm a collaborator. I love collaborating with other like-minded creatives. Doesn't mean that you have to have the same ideas as me. As a matter of fact, you should not have the same ideas as me.
Right.
But if you present me with an idea that fits in my, you know, box, and I'm all in.
Right.
So I have actually expanded to owners, not owning, but moving into hosting the studio. So I have a studio that's in the process of being opened in Canoga Park, and it is film sets. We make costumes and props, and so on and so forth. And the ultimate goal is to, of course, get to the point where we're just creating all of our own works in-house.
Awesome. I love to hear it. Love to hear it. Yeah. Love to hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, when I started this podcast 3 years ago, this is the second season, episode 2. The whole point, as I stated in the beginning of the show, was to speak with multi-talented individuals about their narrow path journey to where they are in their life and their career at the current moment. And everything, all of the twists and the turns and everything that brought them to where they are right now. And I can unequivocally say, out of all the guests I've had so far, this man, Mr. Hamm, Mr. Marcus Hamm, is the essence of what walking the narrow path journey, walking his own unique narrow path journey. This man is this guest is what this show is all about. So I hope you learned a little bit more today about him. If you want to work with him, tell them how they can reach out to you, man. Give them all of your socials. Work with this man, cast this man, collaborate with this man. Yeah. Do whatever you need to do. Obviously, you've seen his work. He's about his business. He's extremely creative. He's extremely passionate about fan fiction and superheroes. He can also pivot and do Fatal Attraction
comedies, dramas,
romances, comedies, dramas, westerns, multi-diverse actor, director, filmmaker, ex-pro wrestler, Mr. Marcus Nel-Jamal Jamal Hamm.
Yes, sir. I actually just learned that Ahmed Jamal was a famous black pianist who my dad named the Jamal part of my middle name. Nell is my Aunt Nellie. But if you want to reach me with that information, it's best to reach me at Urban Ren Entertainment @gmail.com. That's my business email.
Okay.
Of course, my website is urbanrenaissanceentertainment.com. You can also find my acting and social media. It's just searching Marcus Nel-Jamal Hamm. And yeah, those are the best ways to reach me. So, of course, all my social media, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, just search either Urban Ren Entertainment or Marcus Nel-Jamal Hamm. You'll find me.
What it do, everybody? This your boy DR Bellard. I know you're enjoying the interview, and we're gonna get right back to that. But I need to take a small break to talk to all my actors, my filmmakers, my creatives out there who don't know about this amazing website called We Audition. All right. You ever get a job from your agent and you don't have anybody to read with, and you got a quick turnaround, 24-hour turnaround or something like that, 12-hour turnaround, something crazy, but you don't have anybody to read lines with you? Well, We Audition has solved that, right? Virtually. We are in a digital age, and We Audition has handled it perfectly, all right? It is a video, I have it up here up on the screen. It's a video chat community to audition, rehearse, self-tape, and get advice on your self-tapes. I use it all the time. All right. This is how I booked some of the national commercials that I've done and other projects that I've done. I've met amazing people on this site. You can be comfortable in your own home and prepared at the same time in your own space, but with the interaction and the direction and guidance, right? It's creating a better experience and stronger relationships when you meet these dope people on the site who understand what you're going through. And on top of all of that, when you get ready to sign up, you click the link in this video, go to sign up and put Narrow Path in the promo code. That's right, Narrow Path in the promo code, and you get 25% off your monthly membership. That's right, 25% off your $10 membership, because why? Every penny counts. That's why. And not only that, not only are you saving money, but when you refer somebody, you also make money. And you can make money as a scene partner, reading for someone. There are people that make $3,000 or $4,000 a month just reading as a scene partner for other actors. Come on, you can't beat that. We Audition is where it's at, all right? Can't say it anymore. Narrow Path, promo code, sign up today, refer somebody, holla at your boy. Back to the interview. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is the first hour of the Narrow Path podcast show. And we're going to transition to have a little bit of fun. Y'all done seen the man. Y'all done met the man. Y'all done seen his accomplishments. Y'all done see what he can do as a creator, as an actor, and all these things. Now we going to have a little fun, and we just going to talk about some things. And we just going to, you know what I'm saying? We just going to vibe out. We're going to talk about what's going on in the world right now. You ready for that? You cool with that?
Yeah, man.
Let's do that, man. Let's talk about what's going on in the world right now. Help me co-host this thing.
All right.
Let me drive this ship. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, I ran across this new national anthem. So we were just talking about how America is known for whitewashing history, and we all know the controversy that the national anthem comes with, and the lyrics of the national anthem and what it means to black people in this country. Jill Scott dropped a new national anthem on us at Essence Festival, and when I heard it, it blew me the hell away.
Real tears.
Y'all got to check this out. If you haven't heard this, check this out.
Who say, can you see by the blood in the streets that this place doesn't smile on you, colored child, whose blood built this land hands, but you'll die in this place, and your memory erased. Oh, say, does this truth hold any weight? This is not the land of the free, but the home of the slave.
Wow. Wow. Slow clap for Jill Scott. That has got to be one of the most courageous things I've ever heard.
And let me just tell you, that was not just Jill Scott. And what I mean when I say that, I love Jill Scott. I've listened to Jill Scott from her very first album. The sound that I hear coming out of that woman's mouth is the sound of our ancestors coming through her spirit.
You better speak it.
I mean, the first time I saw that clip, I didn't actually watch it because I assumed that she was just singing the same national anthem. And I knew she was going to blow it out the water, but I said it's still the national anthem.
Right.
And then I said, wait, something's different from what I'm seeing in the comments over here.
The lyrics?
And when that first lyric hit, I said, oh.
You're like, wait a minute.
And it just, that last line, the land of the slave.
Chills, bro. Chills.
Understand. Yeah.
I almost passed it up too because I just thought she was singing the national anthem and she was going to throw her little spin on it.
Yeah.
But something led me to just listen.
Yeah.
And oh my God, that is the only thing that should be played.
Yeah.
From this point on.
Protect that woman at all costs.
Protect that woman at all costs. At all costs. Some of the comments, let's see what some of the people are saying. Shout out to Essence. Essence who posted the website. Essence, of course, she performed at the Essence Festival. And so they posted it to their website. They say Jill literally was the moment. Somebody else says, my whole body is vibrating.
Yep.
Chills.
Nothing but truth.
And someone else just reiterated what you said. Jill sung this with all the ancestors in her voice. Felt eerie, goosebumps, felt all of that. I mean, this was everything.
Yeah.
This was everything.
Yeah. The timing couldn't be more perfect with what's going on these days.
Right. She did that. She says, someone says, to know that she wrote this at age 19. Oh. She wrote this at age 19 and it's now 51 and it still applies to today's society is truly mind-boggling.
Wow.
She actually wrote this. That's crazy. I had no clue.
I gotta research this.
I thought somebody else wrote that.
Yeah.
I'm like, where was this? I knew nothing about this. So, yeah. That was absolutely amazing. Shout out to Jill Scott. Shout out to Jill Scott.
Yeah.
This next story, this blew my mind. The woman steals money from her husband. I want to get y'all thoughts on this because as a man that's been married, I'll just say a few times.
Yeah, me too.
I'll just say a few times. I won't go into detail. Maybe
more than once.
We'll go into that. That would be another topic on another podcast we can go into details about. But as a man that's been married before, do you believe in having joint accounts, or do you believe in you have an account, your wife has an account, and then y'all have a joint account together? What are your thoughts before I play this clip?
After having been married,
Appreciate you. Good looking.
after being married and listening to someone who was much wiser than myself, my father, who successfully enjoyed a lifetime marriage with my now, past mom, it's better to keep your money separate.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, if you do have a joint account, that joint account needs to be specifically intended for mutual benefit.
Right. Okay. Well, let's play this clip. For those who hadn't seen it, this man, he finds out that his wife has taken a little bit of money out of the account without telling him that she's been a little secret squirrel. Mm-hmm. She's been storing the nuts for a rainy day. Let's check it out.
I don't know nothing about. I gotta work 2 jobs, about $20,000. Knowing we struggling, man. This. Why do I got a bank statement in the mail with an account that I don't know nothing about?
First of all, don't come in here yelling at me about no account. I have an account to make sure I'm good. That's why the account is there.
Why are you taking money out of my account while I don't know?
You are my husband. I have to make sure I'm good. If we were to ever get divorced, I'm not about to be out here with nothing.
We gotta make sure we good. This don't got nothing to do with you sitting taking money out of my account that I work hard for.
Do you not work for us? Are we not a family? This is
working for you. This ain't working for us.
No, it is. I have to make sure I'm good. I'm a woman. If you were to leave me, I need to be okay. What's the problem?
You need to be on the problem. You just don't.
What's wrong with you?
Listen, check this out. At the end of the day, you can account for that. I don't know any struggling.
I have to make sure I'm good. I can't. I'm not about to argue with you about money.
You are so
No, I'm not. Everything I've done for us, are you serious? You mad because I'm putting
everything you done for who? Everything you done for me, I'm the one working. I'm the one putting in the time.
You cannot be for real right now, Keith. Everything I do for us, if you're mad that I put a little money to the side for me?
Everything you do for us. Everything you do for me. Statement. This just, I'm gonna tell you, man.
What are you gonna do about it?
What am I gonna do about it?
What are you gonna do about it? I don't care about this right now.
I was trying to see her side until she said that. I was trying to see her side.
That's the reason. That's how you able to go in find my word and take the money.
Do what you gotta do. I don't care about it. I'm so serious. I'm not about to argue with you about no money. I'm not.
No money?
No, I'm not arguing.
It's just money to you, right? $22,000 is just a little bit of money to you, huh? I gotta go and work for that money, but it's just a little bit to you, huh?
I'm not about to argue with you about it. Like I said, if you were to break up today, then what am I supposed to do? I have to have something.
If we was to break up today, you would be A-OK, my friend, because you still money for I don't know how long.
That's gonna make me okay.
$22,000 not gonna make you okay. Some people don't make that a whole year at their job.
What do they need to get a job? Who can live off of 22? You acting like I stole $100,000. Come on. It's money you've been giving me that I just put a little bit to the side in my own account.
Why have you been taking money from my account and putting it in yours without knowing? $22,000 is a lot of money to be missing. You live in a nice house. I pay all bills for you. I go to work every day for you, for the family, for the kids.
Don't argue with me about the money when that was our agreement. That was our agreement. Now, you mad about me putting money to the side? I'm not giving it up, so I don't care. What do you want? Like, you can do what you need to do, but I don't care. I'm not. Yes.
Agreement?
Yes.
It was agreement for you to take money out of my account and me not know? When was that agreement made? Because I don't know. I was there.
I put the money before I put it in my account.
Is it ours? Yeah, baby. You should be asking.
It's ours.
It's ours when we make something together. That's when something's ours. When two people make something together, then it's theirs. If one person provides the whole situation, it's not an our situation, baby. It's a my situation.
So you're mad
and you
that
steal it from me because I didn't give it to you.
We share an account, and I made an extra account, and I moved money to my own account, so I would be straight.
You something else.
No, I'm not.
You something else.
No, I'm not.
So let me ask you a question. If I took $22,000 from you, that'd be okay?
You're my husband. Do what you need to do. Like, no, you wouldn't be taking.
Of course you saying that when you're not the person working 10, 12 hours at a time. Of course you're not going to say that. Of Of course you cool with it.
Key, you so mad about this money. What are you gonna do about it? I'm not giving it up.
What am I gonna do about it?
My nails ain't even done right now.
What am I gonna do about it? Okay, check you out. Check you out. What am I gonna do about it? Big bang. All right.
Well, all right, y'all. This has been another episode of another Far Break.
Man. Marcus, darling, Marcus.
Damn.
She went for the episode. Man, look here. Okay, I'm gonna let you go first. I got my thoughts on this. Go. You the guest. I'm gonna let you go first. Please give me your thoughts on her soliloquy about her position in a relationship and her husband's responsibility to provide and take care of her.
Now, first and foremost, I know I mentioned earlier that I have a degree in criminal justice.
Okay.
I mean, what she did was theft. No ifs, ands, or buts. But most importantly, her reasoning for doing so. You know, I want to make sure I'm good if we get divorced. I'm assuming we both are aware of this, but when you get divorced, you would be good because there are proceedings that involves the determination of monetary compensation.
Mm-hmm.
So
meaning she gonna get half your shit.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Exactly.
And child support.
If there was no prenup signed, you were gonna be good, young lady. But that action warrants the reason for someone to get divorced. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So ladies, you know, if you're watching that and you're siding with this woman and thinking that, you know, I would do the same thing or you are in the process of doing the same thing, just know that it's just low down. It's not conducive to trying to have a healthy marriage. And
you can't. There's no trust. There's no trust. Now, I'm a man that takes pride in taking care of his family and taking care of his woman.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm the only one that's working and I'm paying all the bills and I'm taking care of everything and I'm giving you money, now I feel like if I'm giving you money, a certain amount of money a month or a week or whatever, and whatever you decide to do with that money, that's on you. Now, if she was doing that, I possibly would not have a problem with it. But from what it sounds like in the video, she was taking money from the account. She was taking money from the account without his knowledge and stashing it away. And saying, oh, well, she was using it for something else, or she was using it for this, or using it for that. I'm sure he asked her about it if he looked at the bank statements. Hey, and she's saying, oh, I got groceries, I got whatever. But she's really just storing it away.
Yeah.
That to me is dishonest. If she couldn't have a conversation about what she was doing with the money, and you felt like you had to store something off to the side in case something happens, then that is totally dishonest, and I cannot trust you as my lifetime partner.
Now, here's the other aspect of this. You know, we all in our lives, we make mistakes, we do things, and, you know, we have to look at and say to ourselves, well, maybe it wasn't the best idea.
Mm-hmm.
Gaslighting is one of the most common tools that are utilized.
You better say that.
In a conversation. There's this wall, there's this refusal to take accountability.
Right.
That happens unfortunately, primarily in relationships.
Let's just keep it real. Accountability is some women, I ain't gonna even say most, I'm gonna say accountability is some women's kryptonite. We was talking about superheroes earlier. That is most women's kryptonite is accountability. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah, so you already done messed up. Now the man is approaching you, questioning your behavior and what's happening, and in response, what are you going to do about it? Response, we agreed on this. This was what we agreed upon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very obvious that this kind of response is to sidetrack the conversation.
The fact that she would even say that, what are you going to do about it?
it's funny because I'm thinking to myself, she's lucky that he's recording.
Right.
Because he's not going to self-incriminate himself. It's probably why he kind of just
let it go. Right.
And I'm not saying that the man should have put any hands on the woman.
Right.
But I'm sure
we do not advocate.
No, there's no advocation
for
violence. But I can say that when a person only tries to escalate a situation further, and honestly, I would assume it would be with the hope that there would be an action taken that they can utilize for their advantage, which is more the reason why nobody should ever put hands on somebody, because that's generally the reason that they push you to do so.
Go to push your buttons.
Yeah.
When they can't get an emotional reaction out of you to make you feel the way they feel, then they resort to physical violence. To get they want something, they want a reaction, they need something out of you. And then that's gonna force them for you to react. And then of course, you're the one that's gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
So
and if you were raised by anybody who grew up Black in America, they're gonna warn you that there's no win in these situations. The best thing that you can do is walk away.
But here's the thing. I would have, the moment she would have said, "What are you gonna do about it?" In my mind, I've already divorced her.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
I have already divorced you, filed the paperwork, everything. And that little $22,000 you done stole from me, you better trust and believe I'm fighting to get every single penny back. Yeah. Listen, it is now a legal situation because we're supposed to have each other's back. You know what I'm saying? If money defines how you feel about somebody in a relationship, that's just not it. You know what I'm saying? That's just not it. And to me, it seems like she was preparing to leave him. That's why she was potentially. That's why she was taking the money. She's preparing to walk out on him at some point. So yeah, and some of the comments, she wrong. Alexis King says she's wrong. If she was working and contributing to the account, I get that. If she had a discussion with him, I get that. But swiper, no swiping, and he doesn't know. And this is a woman. This is a woman. I hear you, Alexis. And someone else says, Negro, I can't say the last name. Even if working and contributing to the account, why is she even planning towards if he leaves her? If she play her part, he won't leave. And if he do leave, then he a clown because it's hard to find loyalty and easy to lose it when you are difficult to keep happy. Yeah, they're very expressive in the comments.
Yeah, but there's also something to be said about, and this is both for men and women, choices in a marriage. Because marriage, the only two people that matter in a marriage are the two people that are in the marriage, right?
Right.
From what I can ascertain, it seemed that this was a marriage where it was made clear from the jump that he was going to be the sole provider and that she was going to be the homemaker, the caretaker of the children. That's a choice. And as men, if we choose to be in a marriage where it is openly expressed to the wife that I am going to take care of you, that's a much deeper conversation that needs to be had. Because, who knows what could have been stated or discussed that could have potentially diverted from this happening, but there is a certain accountability when you do decide that you're going to take on a marriage where you're going to be the sole provider.
Right.
And it's really foolish of her to ruin that type of arrangement.
She just ruined it. Ruined it. Man out there working 10, 12 hours to pay all the bills, take care of you and your family, and you just ruined it. So here's my last thoughts on the subject. This man is taking care of you, working 10, 12 hours a day to take care of you and take care of your family. And all you got to do is sit up and be a housewife and take care of your husband, right? To reiterate Marcus's point, everybody's marriage everybody's relationship is their relationship. Whether y'all both work and you split the bills 50-50 down the middle, whether he works and takes care of all the bills and you stay at home, whether he stays at home, the wife goes to work, she pays all the bills and he takes care of the kids, or if y'all ain't got no kids, he's just at home chilling. Everybody's marriage, that's your situation. Whatever works for you, works for you. In this particular situation, in my opinion, if I'm working and I'm taking care of the bills 10, 12 hours a day and I'm paying all the bills and everything, and you're putting money off to the side, if I'm giving you an allowance every month, if that's what we agreed on, hey babe, you're going to get allowance every week or allowance every month. I make all the money. I'm going to pay all the bills. I'm just going to throw you a little something every month. And she's fine with that. And she decides to put that away for a rainy day. And I know about it. I have no problems with that. Absolutely no problems with that. If she got 22 grand sitting over in the bank from the money I'm giving her every month, and that's what we discussed, cool.
Yeah.
But that's not how it went down.
No. And you got to remember that the man made it very clear that he is struggling to
right
on the bills.
Right.
And all this time,
right,
she got his blood pressure high.
Right.
She got him working, thinking that he is got to only do more just so he can make sure that everybody is good.
Right.
And in the meantime, he was already good.
Yep.
But he was being robbed by his wife.
Robbed. With no mask on.
With no mask.
You a bad dude or woman if you can rob somebody with no mask on.
You know, there's you know,
you a bad man himself.
She was with some rich dude, and you know, the money that she was pocketing was money he was just throwing out the window. You know, that's a whole other conversation that we could be talking about. But this is a hard-working, most likely blue-collar brother.
Right.
And you talking about taking enough money that could have given the family a sense of security and could have given him more time to spend with you. He's spending less time with you because he's working even harder to make up for money you done stole from the man.
Yep. Yep. Well, best of luck to both of them, brother.
Yeah.
If I was you, but hey, I would never tell him. I'm just gonna scratch my neck a little bit. I'm saying what I would do.
That just means end it. That's all.
That's what I would do. Next topic. Have you seen these automated shopping carts?
I just recently, yeah.
Technology is getting crazy, bro.
Getting crazy.
Between AI and everything else that's going on in the world, technology, this literally blew my mind. It's simple. It's so simple, but at the same time, it's like, it's mind blowing.
Still a job.
Yeah, still a job. Check this clip out.
All right, y'all. So me and my girlfriend are at Wegmans, and they have a cart that anytime you put anything in there, it adds it to your list automatically. Watch. All right, so you're gonna grab some sauce. Go ahead, show them. In there. All right, babe, grab a random snack. Anything, quick. Hurry up. Come on, quick, anything. Toss it in there. All right, y'all. But look at this. Look at how futuristic they are. I'm gonna take the same thing out. Okay, now the best part, no more waiting in lines. All you do, you pay from right where the kiosk is on your cart. So then you just hit pay. You just make sure you prove everything that's on your list, and that's it.
All right. This ain't nothing but self-checkout on wheels.
Exactly. Exactly.
This ain't nothing but Walmart on wheels. Because you know they only got 2 cashiers and 25 registers.
Mm-hmm.
This is wild to me.
It is. And my first thought when I watched this is, I know that every criminal
is
just studying this, trying to figure out how do I work around this?
Right.
How do I walk out of the door
right
with my groceries without paying for it?
Right, with a carton full of snacks, carton full of months full of groceries. The way they got it, it looks like they got sensors on everything, and it's barcoded, of course, obviously. And they have sensors in the cart, and I don't know how you would. I don't know. I think if you put everything in the cart, if you were to try and work around the system, you would put everything you want in the cart, and you wouldn't pay, and you just walk out the door as if you paid.
And that's this is the problem.
I don't know.
You mentioned self-checkout. Grocery stores are losing millions of dollars due to theft. And generally they don't stop them. Even when they got security is told do not.
I think anything under $100 is not even worth. They don't even call the police.
So the further we get away from having a system in place that requires you to have to walk by somebody, have someone with eyes who can physically be and they don't have to be physical with you, but as human beings, we're less prone to stealing when there's somebody that we're directly engaged with, because we don't have any feelings for machines and devices as we do for human life. Now, of course, there's people who don't care about human life, but we're talking about a very small minority. There's a segment of the population who would not commit a crime if the proper parameters were in place.
Right.
And that segment are now being tested.
Right.
Because we're becoming,
temptation.
We're getting less and less concerned about accountability.
Right.
But I also wanted to make a mention about this video that probably would not be mentioned by anyone else, but because of what we just watched previously, I just want to point out the girlfriend's response when the boyfriend asked her to hurry up and throw something into the cart.
What did she say?
She said, okay. She didn't give him no hassle. She didn't say, "What? Don't talk to me like that." She didn't give him no big. She knew that this man is trying to make a video so we can sit here and review it, and she did her part respectfully. And I just want to give her credit for that.
I think I saw a video. Somebody said, maybe it was T.K. Kirkland. It was some stand-up comedian said in his set. He was like, black women be thinking men trying to control them when all we trying to do is half the time to save your life. If I say duck and you say for what, now you shot. When all you had to do was duck. do what the hell I tell you to do. now you dead.
Yeah, they come back from the dead. Well, you should have just told me nicer. I wouldn't be in this coffin right now if it wasn't for the way you talk to me.
Right. That's crazy. And I'm not even gonna put all that on all black women. I'm just gonna say women. But we know black women. We know some black women are like, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. Who you talking to? Like, what you say? All I'm doing is telling you.
Just trying. We're just trying.
Just trying. But yeah, I think this is the wave, man. This is what's happening. They're getting rid of jobs. Even someone here says E. Marie Eats on the Shade Room. Shout out to the Shade Room because that's where we're getting this video from. Someone says looks cool, but it's really just a clever way for the consumer to do all the work, cut jobs, and simultaneously raise the food prices.
Yep.
Yeah, got a point. Yep. They got us where it's all leading to. Everything automated, everything robots and technology.
Yeah, so remember that we have a voice. They keep trying to roll out this stuff, and it's up to us as consumers and as voters to make sure that we are vocal when we don't agree.
Right.
Starting with self-checkout. I mean, you keep going to these stores and there's fewer and fewer cashiers and more self-checkouts. You say, I'm taking my business elsewhere until I start seeing some people. They'll reverse the tide.
Amethyst Rain says, put these all in Walmart because these N-words ain't never at the register anyway. They got a point.
I will say that the other factor to having people is that you got to have good people.
Right.
Yes, we definitely would like to see quality customer service.
Right. God Griff Rico says, I'm not pushing a snitch around the grocery store. Man, we don't take nothing serious, man. That's crazy.
Snitch on wheels.
Right. Snitch on wheels. That's exactly what it is. Telling all your business. Oh, man. So that's going to do it for our quote-unquote serious topics today. Because I got my man Marcus here, and we're going to close out here pretty much. But before we close out, I wanted to kind of put y'all on The Narrow Path Podcast, as you know, it's about unearthing multi-talented people. And I got a guy here, Ace Vane, that I've been following for years on Instagram and YouTube. Go follow him, Ace Vane. He does voiceovers for superheroes. And he is extremely, extremely funny, extremely talented. A lot of his stuff is explicit. So if you have a problem with explicit language, you know, this is the time to tune out. But he does these voiceovers for Batman, Black Panther, the whole Justice League. It's hilarious. So in honor of my man Marcus, Mr. Hamm here, I wanted to add some comedic levity to end the show with. So we're going to watch a couple of Ace Vane's superhero voiceovers, and then we're going to close the show out. Here's the Black Panther one.
Nigga, you're in the wrong place.
Oh no, I am very much in the right place.
No, this is the wrong place. I just told you.
No, this is the right place.
If it was the right place, I would say, yeah, you have the right place, but this is the wrong place.
I've done my research. This is the place with the fattest asses.
But these asses aren't for you.
And I will be clapping the cheeks of the fattest ass of them all.
You will not be clapping any cheeks here.
This is not for you to decide.
That is where you're wrong,
I was
nigga.
invited to clap these cheeks.
Oh, okay, nigga. You were invited. Well, guess what? If it wasn't a royal invitation, it doesn't mean...
Shuri invited me.
What Shuri?
Negro, you know damn well what Shuri.
Oh, no. You're not sleeping with my sister.
Oh, absolutely not, King.
You're goddamn right.
I'm just going to fuck her brains out.
What?
And she's a genius, so that's going to be a lot of fucking.
Oh, you motherfucker, I ain't going to
Wakanda forever, bitch.
Oh, no, nigga, you have fucked up now. Get back here and shoot me in my face. You son of a bitch.
Your sister's a grown woman, T'Challa.
Nigga, she just turned 18.
That ass is 28.
You are fucking gross.
Her body is calling for me. It seems like she's ready.
Oh, shit. Motherfucker. Are you seriously quoting R. Kelly?
Ace Vane, everybody. Oh, my God. And here's one with Batman and Robin. Hold on. Robin in the car.
Batman is so dynamic, vigilante, crime fighter at his best, protecting Gotham as a night at night with my gadgets. Parents died, I got depressed, put a symbol on my chest. All my villains get so stressed cause they know that I want to prep. Mobbing through Gotham, put a villain's head on the floor. If he gets back up, I am gonna punch him some more. Not me cause I want to prep. Hate it cause I want to prep. Always win, I want to prep.
Shut y'all ass up. Hold on, what y'all doing? Chill.
I got kids.
Fuck those kids.
Fuck those kids. I'm the side fellow on my caper's like yellow, and you might know me as Robin.
Say what?
My real name Richard, and that's long for dick, but that's not the one she slobbing.
Say what?
Because I'm 5'2", I should be in school, but I'm up all night till the sun.
No sleep.
Because I'm Batman's son, we made the bad guys run. Oh no, he's got a gun.
Say what?
Oh, man. Ace Vane is hilarious.
Oh, man.
Well, I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I did.
Mr. Marcus Hamm.
This was great.
It was an honor having you on, man. Thank you for taking the time out to come and discuss your journey, your narrow path journey, man. And it's fascinating. And I only wish you the best going forward. Hopefully we can collab on something in the future.
Yes, sir.
Whether it's filmmaking, acting, whatever the case may be. But thank you for coming on and sharing your journey, your narrow path journey with the world. Hopefully someone out there recognizes and sees your talent, sees your passion, sees your creativity, and elevates you to the position where you should be. And if they don't, you have all the tools to do it yourself.
Absolutely.
You have all the tools to do it yourself. So we tell creators on here, don't sit around, wait for the phone to ring, go out and make what you want the world to see.
Yes.
And someone will come calling. They'll come calling.
Yes.
They'll come looking for you.
Yeah.
So thank you. Any last words for the audience? Once again, let them know where they can find you, find your work, And just any last words before we close out?
Yeah, so I do want to use this platform to also elevate some of my closest colleagues in this industry that have some amazing projects that are out right now. Tiffany Tony, China McCoy, they have a film that you can watch right now on Tubi and Amazon Prime. It's called Bora, B as in boy, O-R-A. Check it out. It is a crazy, intense thriller. Also, my man Troy Skinner has A New Life. I actually have a little role in that as well. But A New Life is coming soon. It's going to be out August 11th. So I want to give both of y'all a shout out. And I also want to shout out my boy Fernando Marrero. You saw him several times. He plays Wolverine in my Triggered movie, and he also is in The Sins. Me and him have gone all the way back to our wrestling days, and I just want to give the brother a shout out. Just got married. And we talked a lot about the downsides, man, but I see nothing but love and happiness in your marriage, and I want to give y'all both a congratulations, you and Dawn. And as far as I go, just remember Urban Renaissance Entertainment. If you search Urban Renaissance Entertainment, I look by my full name, Marcus Nel-Jamal Hamm. I use that middle name for a reason. You will find me on social media, and also can see a lot of my work online as well.
Absolutely. Well, there it is. There it is. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for rocking with us. Season 2, episode 2 of the Narrow Path Podcast. Please go like, subscribe, hit that button. Like, subscribe, share, comment, so the algorithm can recognize us and we can get all these multi-talented people out to a wider audience. The more you rock with us, the more shine they get. This isn't about me. I'm just being obedient to God and what God has told me to do, and that's to elevate and uplift my fellow co-workers, my fellow friends, and people in this industry that I admire and respect. So help me, help them. So go like, subscribe, comment, do all those YouTube things. You guys know what it is. And we're going to talk to you guys later. This has been another episode of the Narrow Path Podcast, and we out.